What is the difference between giving sujood as-sahu before salam and after salam? Can you please explain in detail? First of all, this is the first time someone says, this is the first time I know that you can offer sujood as-sahu after salam. This is new for me. Well, every day we learn something new. The hadith that governs sujood as-sahu are many. Abdullah ibn Buhayna, may Allah be pleased with him, Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, Abu Hurairah, Abdullah ibn Mas'ud, may Allah be pleased with them all. They all narrated this. And different scenarios. And in a nutshell, because we can't go into details. First of all, you have to understand that sujood as-sahu is offered when you make a mistake in a pillar or a mandatory act in salat. This means that any voluntary act, you make a mistake or you leave it intentionally or you add it intentionally, does not impact your salat to the extent that you have to offer sujood as-sahu. So someone does not raise his hand. So in the beginning, I start my salat by saying, Allahu Akbar. I didn't raise my hands. My prayer is valid because raising the hands is a sunnah. But if I did not say Allahu Akbar, this is a pillar. My prayer is not conducted yet. I haven't started yet. I can't start a prayer without saying Allahu Akbar. So it has to be a mistake in a pillar or in a mandatory act, which means that you have to learn what are the pillars of salat and what are the mandatory acts of salat to know how to do, how to act, and how to behave. Secondly, scholars say that there are two locations where we pray or offer two prostrations of forgetfulness before salam, and another two locations or incidents or reasons for offering it after salam. So the first one is when you drop a mandatory act, when you forget a mandatory act. So let's assume that I am praying dhuhr for rak'ahs. In the second rak'ah, I do not sit for tashahhud. I stand up for the third rak'ah. And after I'm fully standing, someone says, Subhanallah, Subhanallah, bringing my attention that I have not sit for the third for the first tashahhud. What to do? I have to continue my prayer. I skipped the first tashahhud. Yes, but this is mandatory, and I skipped it out of forgetfulness. Continue my prayer as normal. After the salutation, before concluding my prayer, I offer Allahu Akbar to Sujood as-Sahu, saying Subhana Rabbil A'la as normal. And then Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. That's it. Assuming that I'm in ruku'. And instead of saying Subhana Rabbil Azim, I made a mistake and I started saying Subhana Rabbil A'la, Subhana Rabbil A'la, Subhana Rabbil A'la, Sami Allahu liman hamida. And then it came to my mind that, what did I do? I missed saying Subhana Rabbil Azim. I have to offer Sujood as-Sahu before salam because I've dropped something that is mandatory. Now, if I added something to the salat, so for example, I stood for the fifth rak'ah and then realized that this is the fifth, I immediately sit down. I cannot complete anything. I have to sit down because this is a void rak'ah. If I added a third sajda, then I remember that this is the third, I stand up immediately or sit down depending on my position. But I had already added something. What should I do? Continue my prayer as usual. After the salutation is over and the dua, I say Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Allahu Akbar. I offer two prostrations after the salam. So these are two locations, one before, one after. Capish, inshallah, understood. Now we come to the third case or the third situation. And this is when I am confused. I'm in the middle of the prayer and I'm totally unaware of whether this is the third rak'ah or the fourth rak'ah. So my confusion is in the fourth rak'ah. My confusion is, did I prostrate one prostration or this is my second prostration? So whenever there's a confusion and I'm totally lost, I'm not aware, I don't know. Is it my second rak'ah? Is it my third rak'ah? Is it my fourth rak'ah? I'm not aware. There is doubt. The Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, when some of you prays and he's doubtful whether he prayed 3 or 4, he should base his assumption on what is confirmed. So now I'm doubtful whether I prayed 3 or 4. Where is the doubt? Definitely it's in 4, because 3 I'm certain that I prayed them. My doubt is in the 4th. So the Prophet says, base your assumption on what is confirmed. So I neglect that I've prayed 4 and I consider myself have prayed 3 and continue accordingly. And just before Salam, I offer 2 sujood of sahu, then offer Salam. So when there is no balance, no determination whether this or that, it's totally equal, in this case, I base my assumption on the least number. I'm in sujood. Is this my first or my second sujood? Well, I don't know. Then I would assume that this is my first sajda, because this is the confirmed. And I get and do the second sajda and also perform sujood as-Sahu before the Salam. This is case number 3. Case number 4 is the same. When I'm confused, whether I prayed 3 rak'ahs or 4 rak'ahs, whether this was my first sujood or second sujood. But the difference is that I am inclined to one of the two. I'm not totally blinded by confusion, not knowing 3 or 4. No, I'm inclined that, this is most likely the third. Because in the third rak'ah, I usually recite Qul Huwallahu Ahad after Fatiha. And I just remember that I did that. Or I would say, no, most likely this is the 4th, because I did this or I did that, or I heard a sound or I heard an ayah. So you have a reason to be inclined to one of either you added or deleted or omitted. Either this or that. You have a reason to be inclined to either one. In this case, after Salam, you offer 2 sujood of sahu. To recap, before Salam, you offer sujood as-Sahu in 2 cases. 1, either you omitted something from your mandatory acts. To compensate that, you offer 2 sujood before Salam. Or you are confused whether you did this or that and you cannot be inclined to any of them. You base your assumption on the least, the number that is the least, and continue your salat and offer 2 sujood as-Sahu before Salam. You perform it after Salam when you have added something that is not part of the salah. A 3rd tashahhud, a 5th rak'ah, something mandatory in other than its place. Then you offer 2 sujood after Salam. Or, and this is the 4th, when you are confused but you're inclined to whether you added or omitted something from the salat, you act upon that and you offer your sujood after the Salam. When we say after the Salam, do we offer also another tashahhud? The answer is no. You simply offer Salam, then immediately 2 prostrations, saying Subhana Rabbil A'la, Allahu Akbar, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.